Kings and Queens. Welcome back to Elevating Africans. Welcome to Elevating Africans. If you guys are new, please do subscribe, share, and leave a comment below if you have anyone in mind that you would like us to interview and get more information from them. Great. So this week we have come with one of an amazing man here, who is a lawyer. So we're here to hear his story. So please help me welcome the man himself, Daniel.
Well,
Thank you so much for taking your time off and come to this show this week. We appreciate your presence.
look, it's a pleasure. So, Saturday afternoon in Melbourne. So, I look forward to getting to know you guys and seeing what sort of contribution I can make to Elevating Africans and your audience.
Great.
Thank you. I think you've already made an impact just by coming here because people are going to hear your story today. And so to get to our questions, the first question is, who is Daniel? What do you do? Where are you from? Like, when did you come to Australia?
Well, Daniel's my Christian name, and then but my South-East African name is Akuot. So if you're a Dinka or you're South Sudanese, and then or you're a relative of mine or a family member or someone who knew me growing up, you probably know me as Akuot. Like many Africans, who used to be baptised, they get their Anglo name. So Daniel's my Anglo name. I arrived in Australia in 2004, and I think that was during the time when there was a lot of influx of South Sudanese African migrants. So I came around that time with my older sister, just the two of us. I settled in Adelaide. That's where I grew up, and then moved to Melbourne in February 2017 to start my legal career, but because I saw an opportunity to come here and sort of and work in the space I'm in, which is mainly criminal defence work, with the view to setting up a practice in the future. And I've done that. So I've been in practice since April last year, I've got since April last year the firm is growing. So it's been an exciting journey so far.
That's really good.
That's amazing. Well, congrats for for setting up your firm. That's a huge step, and we're super proud of you as Africans living in abroad. So it's an amazing journey that you have landed on. So when did you realize that you wanted to be a lawyer, or you wanted to study a law in general?
Look, I mean, it wasn't until sort of halfway through my first year of mechanical engineering at university, I sort of realised that was me just trying to be like my uncle Abraham General, who sponsored me and my sister. Abraham, he was bright. He was doing engineering at the time when we came here. I think he was in his second year of civil engineering. And he was sort of he played the father figure role and also as a mentor, and really supported me through high school in terms of helping me with my homework, with science, maths and English, and then really sort of setting me on the right path to try and go to university. So initially I wanted to be like him, and that's why I enrolled in engineering. But then halfway through that, this time I was a bit older, and that's when really some of the stories of the work Dad did back in the camp, and he continues to do that now in South Sudan, sort of resonated with me. And I was like, I want to be like my father, so I go to law school.
Nice.
What challenges did you face during your career, and how did you overcome them?
Look, I think it's the law, the legal profession. It's very it's Anglo dominated, so it's mainly white Australians who are in the space. There's really I mean, when I was going through law school, there might have been probably just a handful of Sunnis and Africans students in law school at the time. This is in 2010. I mean, now you see a huge influx, so there's a big wave of young Africans, law grads coming through, and those enrolling in law school. So you're definitely seeing bigger numbers. But when I first went to uni, and there weren't, it was rare to have, probably like max. I reckon in my year, there would have been probably a tut. So and just compromise. So it's that in itself sort of singles you out, because you're different compared to everyone else. But I think the challenge is that it's getting others who are not used to seeing African lawyers, African law students, or African practitioners, whether it's around the courts or in professional setting, getting them to be comfortable with the fact that the person in the room who's a solicitor, he's not Anglo, he's an African person. So I think that's really been sort of been challenging, because you've got to deal with all those unconscious bias and trying to persevere, despite people thinking people just looking at you differently. They just and things are bad enough, it's one of those things, because they're just not so used, just like the females in this country, it's taken so long for like Anglo females or like Australian women to get to where they have, and obviously there's still a lot of work in terms of them having equal footing, as men, as their counterpart. So it's for us African, because we're sort of the latest wave of migrants have come here. It just might take time, before things sort of improve, and because we are the forefront, or we're sort of with the first generation lawyers to come through. It's people are just not used, to seeing us as lawyers, but rather than like say for example in relation to the magistrate court, which deal with a lot of criminal matters in the state, they're not used to seeing South Sudanese young men coming to court as solicitors, but rather as an accused person. So you can see the sort of judgment you get from court users, whether they court it's
just people who don't even have exposure to Africans doing other things like being lawyers.
So it's well, look, I think as a society as a whole, it's things are getting better. And it's. I'm not going to be the only person who's got a practice in a few years. I'm not the only person who has a practice, but in another 5 years, or the next few years, you'll also see other young Africans set up their own practices, go to the bar, both men and female, and it's really I think it's only a matter of time before those challenges I'd face, and those who've come before me sort of start to disappear. They're there, and they're going to be there maybe for another decade. But I think the more African lawyers you see in court, people like me, and the more Africans you see is magistrates or judges, which will take another decade, because you just got to go. Like, it just doesn't happen overnight. You've got to be a solicitor for a few years, or go to the bar, and then you have to be there for like a few years, and sort of move up as a barrister before such appointments are made. So I think once you start to see us in those sort of spaces, and then all those unconscious bias or all that sort of institutional racism or systematic sort of bias, all that stuff, should, it will probably start to disappear, and it's I think with the current state of things, I think things are just going to get better, because it's what was normal 30 years ago. It's not, it's not accepted as normal now.
Yeah,
And I think
absolutely.
that applies across the board, including both, like Australian, like Anglo, and other communities who call this place home.
Yeah, and I think just even having people like yourself opening up your practices, it's going to start normalizing that, and more people are going to obviously see that if it's possible for Daniel, I can probably try, and it will be possible for me as well. So it's like that encouragement. It's not only just good to the Anglo community, but it's also good to the African community, because we're seeing these other Africans strive for greater things, and instead of just being we can't do this, we're like, oh, we can do this, because we're seeing people who look like us do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's amazing. I think you're doing a great job. So prior to opening this one up, the practice, how long did you work as a lawyer?
So I've been practicing for 6 years now. So I was admitted on the 21st of September 2015. That's when I was
still
admitted
remember.
to practice.
That's amazing.
Is that to practice?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
solicitor barrister, and I had commenced employment as a lawyer, so I've been practicing for 6 years. So prior to starting the firm, I would have just done 4 years in a bit. It's been a long journey, but I've sort of this is something I've always wanted to do since first year of law school, and also the whole premise, by setting up a practice, it's not only to be able to give back to the community, but also to sort of be a role model, and really encourage other young people from my community to sort of aspire, to be different, to do better, or achieve, or really just aim high. Or in my view, or my perspective, is that if more peers, Anglo or not Anglo, if they could like aim big or dream big and set big goals and work towards that, then why can't I? I've got one of the obstacles in the way. But I think it's really it's really up to the individual as to how much of that they want to pursue. So it's always I've always trying to set the bar for myself high, and I hope it sort of inspires all the next either my peers or those who come makes way with lawyers who can come through and tell them to do better. To sort of take this firm and make it like national or sort of global. Or, I go to the bar and become like senior barristers, and really it's about to show, it's showing young people like young African men or Sudanese men and female or Sudanese women that it can be done.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think having someone like you in the community, in the African community, and just people having to see you, like particularly young people, having to see someone who's as young as you, who's practicing, and also who owns a firm, that just gives, that would just give them that power, like to ignite within them to say, you know what, oh my goodness, wow, I didn't realize that this was something I could also actually achieve, and pursue into that pathway, to get whatever it is that they want to study or start or whatever, because it doesn't have to be on the law, they could do anything as long as they're aiming, further than where they are at, So having people like you in the community, this is what we need,
Yeah, and you're spot on. It's not the whole idea is to, is to be self-reliant, and really doesn't matter what sort of trade or profession or skill set you have. If you're hungry enough, and then you should really you should make an effort or an attempt to set up your own practice, and really have a go at it, like your own business, because it's sort of that's what sort of that's what sort of takes you, to the next level, and really, and sort of makes you a leader and a role model, So it's other people, who are not in the room, whether they're in commerce, finance, and accounting, or in trade, like plumbers, electrician, could be like, well, Daniel set up a business, and you seem to be doing all right. I think I'm ready. I think I've had enough experience, and just back himself, and take, and take the move. Or make the move. I mean, like they're saying it. If you can do it, if you could back yourself and have the guts to do it, I encourage it.
And I really like how you basically worked, like from the time you were graduated and admitted. Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah.
Admitted?
Yeah.
Like you working and within the profession, but like not on your own business, but like somebody else's. Like, because then that way you actually build your skills, to be able to say, you know what, now I'm ready to start my own, because you already had the vision from the very beginning, as you mentioned earlier, from the time you actually started your unit, you had the idea already that you're going to be having your own business, and like your own firm, and that following through with that without having to fall out, that's amazing. How did you do it? Seriously, because we could, we could say, okay, 5 years from now, like let's say you're at the beginning of your first year, maybe like 5 years from now, 3 years, whatever, I will graduate, I will work here, and then I will start my firm, or whatever, business. Because sometimes you could fall, you could be like, oh, I don't know if I want to continue, like you completely forgot about your vision. But he having that vision from his first year of studies and bringing it to life, that's a big deal. Sometimes people study, work for somebody else, and then when they see something missing, that's where they tend to say, oh, you know what, I can start my own and actually fill this gap. But tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think you got to be clear with your goals, and then work towards that. So I started off at a national practice, Thompson Gear, doing commercial work, and I sort of went down that path, because I'd gone to Royal Boys School and there's a private school sort of things you do, and then I just realised that wasn't the whole purpose I wanted university in the first place, that path, it's not a path I wanted university, that was the name of the path, but that's a private school path, and then I was just trying to be like some of my mates I went to school with, who went to private school and sort of work in that space, and I mean, I'm not saying, that Africans, who are sort of going to be, in big banks or have $500 billion companies, but I'll sort of work at Thompson Gear. If I continue to do that work, I'll just sort of move. It's corporate, so your clients are sort of big four banks and government. It's not really it's not me giving back to the community immediately. And I wanted to be like my father. And really, I growing up here as a teenager and sort of witness, some of the racial profiling that goes on, against us, and also, and just sort of the need, the immediate need for our community members in the country, and the sort of legal matters, whether it's criminals who are family, there's a need for me to use my skill set and my expertise, to be able to give back, and that's why I sort of left that sort of space and moved towards much more suburban practice, where you sort of you're in touch with your local mum and dad, so to learn areas more like family, civil, and criminal law, and then when the whole and it's funny because all the mates I want to use, in 2010, like you're crazy, we can't believe you were telling us in 2010 you're going to do it, and then you've done it, So when the whole African gang was sort of all of the news, I sort of I knew it was an issue, and that also there weren't many African practitioners in Melbourne, or at the very least there weren't any criminal defence lawyers or Saracens, African parents who were funding, who were frequenting the magistrate court. So I sort of say, look, this is an opportunity to go back to go to Melbourne and really make a difference. So this is in 2016. I sort of planned for it, but before I did that, I went back home to South Sudan, and then when I came back from South Sudan, I came to Melbourne for work in February 2017. And actually, before that, in January, me and my mate came on to Shimoran Law School, and this is sort of the whole part of the whole vision. I actually sent both of them a calendar invite to start the firm by January 2020 last year. So when we started in April, we were 3 months short. So it's sort of. So come to Melbourne, was seeing the need and the opportunity and the gap, and then also the bigger picture that Melbourne had a larger African community, so the needs were much more a wider scope than Adelaide or South Australia. So I made that I made the trip.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
I mean, I think you've done the right thing. Moving there.
And I think it's also like making a bigger impact as you sort of envision to be something that you would like to do. And so has it been difficult to get clients, or has it been okay in terms of has it been challenging to be trusted with clients for people that are not Africans?
No. It's I think I've been very sort of strategic in terms of setting up a practice. So when I came to Melbourne, I worked in private practice. You guys met Natasha earlier. So I met Natasha while working at Poppy Hughes, just at 221 Queen Street in the city. And how I actually got that role was I'd spoken to Akuot a few times, and I was like, I want to be in Melbourne, get me a criminal law gig, and I just keep going. People are like, I'll give it a try. And I sort of, I've been on clocks back since 2015, so eventually he said, look, I'll reach out to Andrew. He does a lot of work, and Andrew had a practice in Sunshine, and he's represented a lot of members of our community. And at the time, Akuot was the chairman of the Saracens Community Association in Victoria, and had a really good relationship with Andrew. So he advised Andrew that I was keen to do criminal defence work, and Andrew said, let him send his resume. So I then emailed my CV to Andrew, and then he invited me to Melbourne for an interview. I think the first question was, are you from Akuot? I said,
wait,
yes.
Who's Andrew?
Andrew's my old boss.
Oh.
So
Are you from Akuot?
Why did he ask?
Why was that?
What Andrew said, if you survive Akuot, you're pretty resilient. So this works.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
You can
Test your resilience.
This works and be easy for you. But so Andrew said Papa did multiple, so I just call him Papa. Papa.
I think that was like a nice icebreaker as well, just to get your comfort level down, to just relax it. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, that's so funny.
So it's nice. So and then I work with a girl called Claire. Claire, I met my current business partner. It was actually one through Claire, and then we we had an awards to Victoria Christmas party in December 2017, and I said to Natasha, you know, I want to sign this in 3 years' time, you know, if you're keen. And you know, Tash her experience, she's got a decade on her belt. You know, she's an incredibly criminal specialist, and she's done a lot of work for young Tasmanians men while working at I think it's federal legal and legal aid. So she sort of she had an insight to all the troubles our young people sort of face, and you know, and had been news advocate. So I said, look, you know, join forces. But I need to get my skills set up. So you know, wait 3 years, and then we'll touch base in 3 years' time. So you know, fast forward. I said, let's do it. Yeah, she
so it actually happened in the time frame that you envisioned.
Yeah, correct. And you know, my ultimate goal is that, you know, by 30, I have my own practice, or I'll be at the bar. So I was going to be working with someone else when I was 30.
So you had big goals.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, and it seems like networking has been something that you've always done. So that's, how do you have confidence to actually go and approach people for that?
Well, I think it's sort of one of my strengths. You know, it's one of my traits. It's one of my. I think I've had it growing up. Like naturally, you know, I've always had a diverse number of friends. You know, both people my age, younger, older. It's I mean, you know, I can't just not encourage to say, yeah, he's got 200 friends, you know. Not good, you know, but it's sort of paid off. You know, it's made the way for me to really get the business up and running, and you know, the profession, you know, has really been supported, both, you know, those in private, those in government, and the judiciary. You know, they've really back me. It's sort of, and it's very encouraging, you know, to have, you know, to have people, you know, people. I think the real difficulty, you know, is if people don't believe in you, you know. So if you've got mentors, you know, who sort of back you.
Yeah.
It's going to be easy to sort of back yourself and say, you know, I can work towards this goal and get it done.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. What advice would you give to other Africans trying to pursue similar career paths as you?
Look, it's not, you know, I've had a lot. I wouldn't say it's a sacrifice. You know, it takes a lot of sacrifice. So it's I mean, a lot of you know, you've got to be prepared to really to have time off with friends and family, and really sort of dig deep, you know, and spend the time, like reading, you know, doing work, prepping, thinking, you know. It's you can't get there overnight, you know. It's really, you know, you've got to I mean, like, I work on weekends because I want to practice.
Yeah.
But prior to that, also when I was working in private at legal aid, I did work weekends. So yeah, it's not ideal. But yeah, if you want to have your own practice, you got to be the best barrister in the country. You got to be prepared to grind. And you can't. You got to be prepared to miss some birthdays. You know, missing dinners. I mean, not everything, you know, but
there's things that are not as essential.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be there always next to you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and just being here today and sharing your experience with us.